What's up guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be creating this portfolio website with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Here's the hero section and the nav bar. Once we start scrolling, the nav background color changes. Here's the about section. Here's the skill section. We have a previous work history and education section. And this is our project section where we can filter out through all of our projects. And at the bottom is our contact form. This website is fully responsive as well. Let's go ahead and look at mobile. Here is the mobile menu, nice and responsive. We add semantic HTML and accessibility to this website as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we got a project here from scratch. Let's go ahead and create our files. So we're going to create an index.html. And we're going to be using JavaScript, so app.js. And normally you would just create a file, styles.css, but we're actually going to create a folder called styles because we're going to have multiple style sheets. I just find it so much easier just creating multiple style sheets for each section instead of having one huge CSS file. So in here, let's go ahead and start with our first one. We're going to do a main.css, and we're going to close that folder. And we're also going to have another folder, and this is going to be called assets. This is where all of our images are going to go. And I believe that is it for now. Let's head over to our index.html and do a little boilerplate. You can just do an exclamation point and just press enter, and then we have this here. For the title, you can just do your name. I'm just gonna do John Doe portfolio. All right, and nothing for the body yet. We can actually start this up. We're gonna go ahead and open it up in live server, and this is an extension it's gonna open up in another browser. Okay, there we go. So this is an extension for VS Code. I believe it's just called live server. Got a bunch of extensions here. Oh, there it goes, live server. There we go. So make sure you guys install this extension. I'm sure most of you guys already have this extension if you're a developer. But yeah, definitely download this. Comes in handy. So we have our site up and running. So let's head back over to our, let's close out of this, and let's go to main.css, and we're gonna do some quick styling right quick. But actually, before we do that, let's head over to our Google Fonts, and we're gonna install our font first. So the font we're gonna be using is Roboto. So head over to fonts.google.com and type in Roboto, and go ahead and click on this, and we'll be using 100, 400, and 500. 400 and 500, and also 700, sorry. Click on that, and I always do the import. So click on import and just copy this code like that. And then inside of the main CSS, we're just gonna go ahead and paste that at the top of it. So let's go do some general styling. And this is where all our general styling gonna go inside of our main.css. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do a box size and border box. Border box. We're gonna do a padding of 0. We're gonna do a margin of 0. And we're also gonna do a font family. We're gonna do Roboto, comma, sans serif, like that. All right, and we also going to do a HTML. We're gonna do a scroll behavior of smooth, because whenever we click on our link, we want the scroll to be smooth. And we're gonna target all the LIs. We're gonna do a list style of none, and we're gonna target all of the A tags. I'm gonna do a text decoration of none, and also a color of inherit. I don't know why they didn't autocomplete. All right, and then we're gonna do a button. For all our buttons, we're gonna do an outline of none. And we're also gonna do a border of none. And oh, I'm thinking this is Tailwind. I used way too much Tailwind. A border of none. If anything though, I can say this, Tailwind really taught me a lot about CSS. I know they say you probably should be using, you know, regular CSS if you want to learn it, but to be honest, Tailwind taught me a lot about regular CSS. We're gonna do a background of inherit, and now we're gonna do a container. Container. I'm gonna do a width of 90%, a margin of 0, and then auto. A max width of 1400 pixels, and we also gonna do a height of 100%. This is just container class that we can just use on all of our reusable container class that we can just use on all of our sections. And now we're also going to have a article. We grab all the article. We're going to have some articles in here. We're going to do a padding of 20 pixels, 0. I'm going to do a display, flex. Do a flex direction of column. I don't know why this isn't auto-completed. We're gonna do a gap of 10 pixels, and we also gonna do a border bottom of solid 1 pixel, and the color is gonna be DAD non D9. All right. So that is it for now. So that's our general styling. Like I said, we're gonna have multiple CSS files. So whenever we start the navbar, we're gonna create another one. But for now, let's head over to the index.html. And there are a few packages that we essentially want to add to our project. And the first one, let me head over here. The first one is gonna be called Ion Icons. So ionic.io, that's the website. So I think you head over to usage and you just copy this here, copy that, and we're going to paste it at the top inside of our head, paste it right underneath this meta, and then save it. So essentially we have that installed now. And there's another one called typed.js, like that. And I believe we head to here, and I think we click on view on GitHub. There we go. So we got to copy this here, and this is basically typing and deleting text. It makes it so much easier to add to your project. In my opinion, it's really easy to add, so I would definitely highly recommend this instead of creating it from scratch. I'm gonna do a type.js, add that in, and then put the script tag at the top. So those are the packages that all the packages that we need. Let's go ahead and link our style sheet. So the only thing we have to link is our main one. And do a link, row style sheet, and then the href is going to be /styles/main CSS. Let me take one of these slashes off. All right, so let's go ahead and test this out and make sure everything is connected. Let's do a h1 and let's do hello world, and let's head over to our main. I'm gonna grab all the h1 and do color blue, or yeah, blue. Let's head over to our, okay, perfect. So it's working. All right, so let's go and get rid of that. And I believe that is it for now. Actually, let's go ahead and download all of our images. So in the description, I have a download link for all of the site images. So go ahead and download that and add each image to your assets folder. Okay, so now that you have all of the images downloaded, let's go ahead and start the navbar. So head over to HTML and let's go ahead and start this. So inside of the body, first let's go ahead and remove this H1. And in here, we're going to have a header. And inside of this header, we're going to have a nav. And the role for this nav is going to be navigation. And we're also going to have ARIA label. And it's going to be navigation. I tried to add some accessibility to this project. Like I said, I'm still learning accessibility myself. Most devs that I've watched and tried to follow tutorials with, they don't really add accessibility to their website. So I'm trying to stand out a little bit and start adding it to my projects. So this project has some accessibility, and it's not the best, but it is some. And like I said, I'm still learning. So let's go ahead and add a div inside of here. And this div is going to have a class name, or a class, not using React, have a class of container and also navbar. And that's just our container class that we made inside of our main. And inside this div, we're gonna have an H1 and it's gonna have your name. I'm just gonna use John Doe. I'll add a little dot. I think the dot looks so much better after it. And then we're gonna have a UL, make some space there. Have a UL and a class. It's going to be nav menu. Okay. And inside this nav menu, we're gonna have a li, and we're gonna wrap it. Inside here, we're gonna have an a tag, and the first one is gonna be home. So home right here. And go ahead and copy this and paste it 4 more times. 2, 3, 4. It's going to switch up everything. So the next one's going to be about. The third one's going to be resume. And the fourth is going to be projects. And then contact. That's going to switch up the IDs. This one's going to be about, resume, projects, and contact. Okay, nice. So there we go. And then our containers, see it got that margin on the left, and it should have margin on the right as well. So that's our nav links. So underneath this UL, we're gonna have a button, and in here is going to be our hamburger menu. So for the button, let's have some space there. This is going to have an ARIA label, and it's going to be toggle menu, or you could just do toggle mobile menu like that. And the class is going to be hamburger. We're going to create our own icon here, and we're gonna have a span. Nothing inside of the span. However, the class name for the class is going to be bar. All right, it's going to copy this, and we're going to paste it 2 more times. Okay, and with that, our nav is complete. Well, not well. The HTML is complete. So let me actually put a comment here, and we're just gonna do nav bar. So make some space there. I like making my comments super long, so, like that. All right, perfect. This is our nav bar. All right, so let's go ahead and create our style sheet for this nav bar. So we're gonna do a navbar.css. And you're probably wondering how we only imported the main CSS here. So how will the styles get picked up inside of our project? So to do it, all you have to do is head over to Navbar CSS, our main CSS. And you can either do it underneath or on top of the font. But you want to essentially just do import. and you should have like a snippet. So import URL, and here you just do a /navbar. So now all of our styles is going to be connected, and we don't have to import each style sheet inside of our HTML file. We're just importing them all inside of our main CSS. So now for our navbar styling, let me go ahead and open it up. I forgot to open it up. Styles and navbar. All right, so we're gonna grab the nav, and the background color is going to be transparent. Position is going to be fixed. Our width is going to be 100%. Our Z index is going to be 999. On the top of 0 and a left of 0. And we're also going to add a padding of 1 rem 0, like that. All right, so you shouldn't really see no changes. Just maybe a little bit of padding. That's the padding coming from right here. And now we're going to grab the navbar class, and we're going to do a display of flex, a justify content space between, and we're going to do a line item center. Okay, perfect. And as you can see, you're probably wondering like why the links are right here. Is because we have that div, our hamburger menus right here that we didn't create yet. So it's kind of picking that up inside of our flex. So that's why the nav links are right here in the middle. So I'm gonna do a nav menu, and we're gonna do a display flex, a gap of 3 rem, and also a line item center. Take a quick look. Nice. Those are our nav links. And now we're going to grab all of our LIs. So we're going to do a nav menu and grab LI. And we're just going to change the font size to 14 pixels. And we're going to change the color of the text. Actually, let's leave the color black for now, because we don't have our image in the background, but the color is going to be white. Actually, what we can do for now is actually do this. Let's set a background transparent. Let's do a background of black, like that. Or maybe color we can see the black onto. Let's do a background like gray. Yeah, gray. Okay, so let's go and change our color for this. 14 pixels, and we're gonna do a color of white. All right, and we also want to grab our navbar h1, which is our logo. Navbar, I'm gonna do h1, and in here we're gonna do a color of white, and the font size is going to be 28 pixels, like that. Get a quick look. Nice. All right, so right underneath this, where we grabbing the LIs, this is where we're going to start creating our mobile menu icon. We're going to grab bar, which is the span, and we're going to give it a background color of white. All right, and we're going to do a display of block, and we're going to do a width of 23 pixels, and we got to give it a height of 2 pixels, sorry. And let's take a quick look. As you can see, it's like a little bar right there. But now here's where the magic happens. So once we add this margin, we're gonna do a margin of 5 pixels, and we're also gonna do auto. So now once we do that, now we have a hamburger menu. So right underneath here, we're also gonna add a transition, because we're gonna make this animate a little bit. We're gonna have to transform it to an X. So we're gonna have a transition. We're gonna do all 0.3 seconds, and do ease in and out, like that. All right, so you won't see anything now. We didn't add JavaScript yet. And now we're gonna grab the hamburger. So this is the div, this is the parent div, and we're just gonna change this to display none because we only wanted to show on mobile. And we also gonna give this a z index of 999, like that. Nice. All right, now I believe that's it for now. Actually, let's go ahead and add our media query, and then we're gonna go add do some JavaScript for this. So underneath this hamburger, we have a media query, and we're gonna do add media only screen and max width, and we're gonna grab 768 pixels. All right, so in here, a bunch of styling. So first one we're gonna do is we want the hamburger menu to obviously be visible, so we're gonna do a display block. All right, and we want the nav menu to be position fixed. And so let's see this. We can actually see this in action. Let's go and inspect. And we're going to change it to, let's do 766 pixels. So as you can see, once we come down, our hamburger menu shows. So now we need to move our nav menu to the right position. So we're going to do a top of 0, a right of 0, a width of 100%, a height of 100%, and we do a flex direction column, and do a line item center. We're gonna do a background color of black, give it a padding of 20 pixels top and bottom, 0 left and right, and we're gonna do a z index of 10. We also can give this a transition of just 0.3 seconds. We can also do 0.3 seconds, and we can do ease in and out. And we also give it a gap of 5 rem and a padding top of 6 rem. Let's take a quick look. All right, cool. I don't think it did. I do flex direction. Oh, I spelled column wrong. That's what I was wondering. I'm like, hold on. All right, so there we go. That's our menu right there. So that's how it looks on mobile whenever it's open. And obviously, we want the hamburger menu to become an X. So, let's go ahead. So underneath here, we're going to make it turn into an X. Trying to see how I can demonstrate this without doing a JavaScript. Maybe we can just grab, so what we can do is just do this. So let's do a hamburger. And what we're gonna do is do dot hamburger, and then we're gonna do dot bar. And we grab the inf child of 2. And we're gonna make that opacity 0. Okay, let's take a quick look, see if that's working. So that got rid of the middle one. And now we're gonna do a dot hamburger and do dot bar. And we're gonna grab the inf child of 1. So we're grabbing the first one, and we're gonna do a transform, translate 8 pixels, and do a rotate of 45 degrees. Like that. Let's take a quick look. That made like a little, made it slanted a little bit. And what we could do is just copy this, paste it again, and now we're gonna grab the third child. And instead of doing translate 8 pixels, we're gonna do a translate of -6 pixels, and also do a -45 degrees. Let's see how that looks. Make sure. So that didn't work right. All right, so my apologies. Here, instead of translate, you got to do translate Y. And also here, we're going to do a translate of Y as well. And you can change this to -6 pixels. And hopefully this makes an X. Nice. Then we got our X. So this is whenever the hamburger menu is active. So we're going to head over to our JavaScript now. We'll head over to your app.js. And now we're going to make some JavaScript. We'll create some JavaScript. I'm going to open it up here. And here, so I'm just going to go ahead and make a comment. This is going to be Navbar because we're going to have a lot of JavaScript in this project. So we're going to do Navbar. And here, let's go ahead and grab everything. So we're going to grab our hamburger. Const hamburger. And this is going to equal document.query selector. And we can do that. And we're going to grab our hamburger. Alright. And now we're going to grab our nav menu. To nav menu. And this is going to equal document.query selector dot nav dash menu. Alright. And let me just go ahead and copy these over. So we're gonna grab our body, and we're also gonna grab our nav links. You can ignore this body one for now. Actually, we're gonna do this now too. Might as well, since we're doing a nav bar. So we're gonna use this body because whenever we open up the nav menu, we don't want to allow scrolling because it just looks weird in my opinion. So we're gonna cancel scroll whenever the nav menu is open. So right underneath all of this, we're gonna create our function. So we're gonna do a hamburger. Actually, we're just gonna add an event listener to our hamburger menu, and we're listening out for a click. And make sure you add a comma here. And we're gonna do an arrow function. And in here, we're gonna do a hamburger menu. Hamburger. I'm gonna do .classless .toggle. And we're gonna toggle the active state. So we haven't created this class yet. And we're also gonna do it for nav menu as well. Nav menu .classless .toggle active as well. And then here we're gonna do a body .classless .toggle, and I named this one no dash scroll like that. So we're gonna create this class inside of our CSS. And now down here, we're also gonna have a function to close the menu. So we're gonna do a function. You can make this an arrow function if you want. We're gonna do close menu. And in here, we're gonna do a hamburger .classless remove. I'm gonna remove our active class. And then same here, I'm just gonna go ahead and just copy these two, paste them here. So instead of toggle, we're just gonna remove all of these. Remove and remove. Okay. And now we're gonna need, we're gonna do a for each loop. So we're gonna do a .nav links for each. Grab a link. And in here, we're gonna do a link add event listener, and we're listening out for a click. And we want our close menu icon to fire whenever we click the links. Forgot. There we go. Perfect. All right, so that is a JavaScript for the nav bar. Obviously, nothing's gonna work because we don't have our active classes in here. So head back over to the CSS, and now we get to play around with some active states. So down here, what we're gonna do is instead of we're gonna add an active class to each one of these. So it's gonna be .hamburger .active. Okay, so I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna paste it for both of these, like that. So it's going to be dot active. So we're going to save that. Once we click, nothing happens. Going to refresh. Okay, I get it now. I get what's happening. So now for our nav menu, so we want it to basically disappear. So we're gonna do right underneath here, we're gonna do a left of negative 100%, like that. So now it's gone. Okay, and let's see, left 100%. Oh, I get what's happening now. Inside of our index, we need to add our JavaScript file. So right underneath this header, so inside of the body, we're just going to do a script, and I believe we do a src, and it's going to be ./app.js, and I'm not sure if it's self-closing or not, but let's try it. And let's see if it works. There we go. Nice. So you see it turns into an X when we click. Perfect. And let's head back over to our Navbar. And now we need to make an active state for our nav menu. Because if you head over to the app.js, we got, whenever we click on the hamburger menu, we're adding a active class on our nav menu. So we want the active class to basically be left of 0. So whenever we click this, our menu appears. Because right now, we check this, our nav bar is left negative 100%. So now we're gonna do a nav menu dot active, and we're just gonna do a left of 0. Save that. Now once we click, our menu appears, and there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and start our hero section. All right, so we're underneath our nav bar. So underneath this header, we're gonna have a main, and in here, let me just write a comment right quick. This is going to be hero section. All right, and in here, let's go ahead and do a section. This section is going to have an ID of home and a class of hero. And in here, we're going to have a div with a class of, this will be our hero overlay. So nothing inside of this div. And we have another div underneath here. And this is going to have a class of our container and hero content. Inside this div, we're going to have another div. And this is going to have a class of hero dash text. So inside of this hero text, we're going to have an h2. And we're just going to have an ID of typed text, because we're using this type.js that we installed. So we're nothing inside of here. Just gonna leave it empty for now. Underneath this div, I'm gonna create another div, and this one is going to have a class of hero dash socials, and also an ARIA label of social media links. All right, so in here we're gonna have a tag, and the href is just gonna lead nowhere because it's just gonna be one of our social media links. And the first one is going to have an ARIA label of Twitter link, and inside of this a tag, we're actually gonna use one of these ion icons. Go ahead over here, ion icons, and you just type in Twitter. There we go. Just copy that in here, and this inside of this a tag, gonna paste that in there. All right, take a quick look, see if we see anything. We don't see nothing. Okay, Let's see, it was okay. That's weird. Logo icons. All right. And what we're gonna do is actually just copy this A tag, and we're gonna paste it 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. And we're just gonna switch up some things. So the next one, we're gonna do GitHub link, and instead of logo Twitter, we're just gonna do logo GitHub. The next one I did LinkedIn, and you guys don't have to do these exact ones. And we're gonna do LinkedIn, and the next one I did Facebook, and it's logo Facebook. Nice. Okay. And with that, I believe we are done with the HTML for our hero section. So let's go ahead and create our hero styles sheets. So here I'm gonna do a hero.css, and before we do anything, we gotta import it here. So for import, we gotta do @import URL. We can do /hero CSS. All right, perfect. And now let's go and write some CSS for our hero section. First thing we're gonna grab is the hero, so .hero, and we do a position of relative, a height of 100 VH, and we're gonna have a background to it. We're gonna do background. We're gonna do a URL, and this is just going to be assets/hero JPG. As you can see, showed up. And we're gonna do a background size of cover, and we're also going to give it a Z index of 1, and we also do a background attachment of fixed. Okay, there we go. I'm still wondering why we don't see those links. I mean those social icons. So let's head over to our Navbar. Let's go ahead and change this back to transparent, so we can be finished with that. And there we go. Oh, I see the links here right there. Okay. I'm glad I did that. I would have been figuring out why I don't see them. All right, cool. So that's that. And now we're gonna grab our hero content. Actually, let's go to overlay first. So the hero overlay is just gonna be, as you can see, like you can't really see the logo, or you can't really see the nav links. So this overlay just provides like a filter for our background. So I'm gonna do .hero overlay, and we're gonna do a position of absolute, a width of 100%, a height of 100%, a background color of black, do a top of 0, a left of 0, and a Z index of 1. So with that, everything turns black. So to play around with it, you can just hover over this color and change the opacity like this, and then save it. As you can see, it's a little darker. You can see the text and links now. But I found one that was perfect for me, so I'm gonna do pound, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5E. That color there. Let me do that. There we go. Perfect. So now it's a little bit darker here, and you can see the links and the hero logo now. That's the overlay. So now let's go ahead and grab the hero content, and we're gonna do a display of flex, a gap of 2 rem, a gap 2 rem, do a flex direction column, do a line item center, a justify content of center, a position of relative, a z-index of 2, and then we also want to change the text color of everything inside to white. There we go. Now it's centered. Nice. Now we're gonna grab the hero text. We're gonna do hero dash. I'm trying to think if we should do this now. Let's not do that now, because I want to go ahead and add the JavaScript for the typing and deleting text. But let's go ahead and style up these social icons right quick before we do that. Let's do hero dash socials and do a display of flex, align item center, and then a gap of 20 pixels. All right, and we want them to be a little bit bigger as well. So let's go ahead and grab hero socials and grab the ion dash icon, and we're gonna change the background color to white. All right, and we're gonna change the color to black and give it a padding of 8 pixels, a border radius of 100%, and we're going to change the font size to 18 pixels. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and go over to our JavaScript, and now we're about to do this typing and deleting text. Like I said, this is all from type.js, so the package that we installed inside of our header, outside of the head of our document, which is this here. So you want to have version 2.016, which I believe is the newest one. All right, head back over to app, and right underneath here I'm gonna do another comment, and it's just gonna be typing deleting text. All right, so we're gonna do a function, and we're gonna do init type text. In here we're gonna do a const options, and we're gonna add our strings in here. So we're gonna do strings. This is basically telling it what you want it to say. So we want it to say hello, comma, I'm, and you obviously put your name. So we do John Doe, and we do comma, and then we also want it to say a, so this is the first string it's going to say. So it's going to type this, then delete it, and then next string is going to be a software engineer, comma, and the next one is from New York, like that. All right, we got a comma there, and we also got a comma after our string array as well. And now you just it's a bunch of options. All of this is inside of the type.js docs. So we're gonna do a type speed. You want the type speed to be 50, and it's all in milliseconds too, so it's 50 milliseconds. And we want the back speed to be 30, comma, wait, I think I'm doing something wrong here, hold on. Actually no, I think we're good. So back speed 30, we're gonna do a back delay of 1000. We can do a start delay of 500, and we're going to do a loop of true. All right, and make sure you add a comma there. All right, and right underneath here we're going to do a const typed, and this is just going to equal new typed. We do type dash text. That's the ID that we did. So type dash text. So that's the ID that we put on our H2. you guys don't remember, and we're gonna have our options. So these are our options. And now underneath here, we just gotta call the function. We're gonna do is just do init type text like that. All right, so with that, oh, it's working. Oh, okay, because I put the ID on it already. I was wondering why. All right, so there we go. Just like that, you have typing and deleting text. You don't have to write a whole page of JavaScript. I did it before. I want to say I did it on 3 projects where I actually created this from scratch, but I just find it so much easier. A couple lines of JavaScript and you got typing and deleting text. Nice. And we can actually style this up a bit. So let's head over to our hero. And we're going to grab the hero text. Hero dash text. I'm going to do a display of flex. Like that. Let me see what happens. So as you can see, the cursor moved to the end. That's what we want. Now we're gonna do a hero content. Hero content. We're gonna grab that H2, and we want that to be a font size of 60 pixels. All right, and I'm gonna save that. Nice. But as you can see, the cursor isn't the same size. So to grab that cursor, only thing you have to do is do typed as cursor. It took me a while to get this. I had to look it up on Google. And we're gonna do a font size of 60 pixels, and we also gonna do an opacity of 1. So now our cursor should be the same size as our text. And I believe that is it for this section. Let's see, probably can add a media query actually. Let's go ahead and see how everything looks on mobile. As you can see, it's a little bit too big on mobile, so let's go and add a media query. Let's do add media, only screen, and max dash width, and we're gonna do 650 pixels. And we're gonna do hero content. Grab that H2, and let's change the font size to just 30 pixels. And now that we changing the font size of the H2, we also got to change the cursor. We do type cursor, and we do a font size of 30 pixels and opacity 1. Okay, nice, perfect, nice. All right, gonna close out those, and now let's go ahead and start the next section. All right, so the next section is the about section. I'm gonna go ahead and close out all of this stuff first and just open up my index.html. So right underneath this hero section, still inside of the main, we're gonna have an about section. And this is going to be our about section. All right. We're going to start typing some stuff up. So it's going to be a section, and this is going to have a class of about and an ID of about. And in here we're going to have a div with a class of container, and we have an h1, no class on the h1. We're going to have I'm, and we're gonna do strong. We're gonna do your name, John Doe. Strong. So I'm John Doe, and I'm and we do another strong tag, a full stack engineer. See how that looks. On the rush. Okay, I'd get it. All right, perfect. So that's good. We're gonna style this up in CSS, and then right underneath this h1 we have a div, and this div is just gonna have a class of about dash info. And you have a p tag in here, and I just wrote up some lorem. I'm just going to copy it. Make sure you type up a descriptive about yourself, descriptive paragraph about yourself. Right underneath this p tag and right underneath this div, we're gonna have a button, and this button is going to have a class of about button and an ARIA label of download resume button. Then inside this, we're just going to have download resume. And then right after this, we have an ion icon. It's just going to be, the name is going to be download icon. I'm just going to copy it from here. So it's going to be ion icon, and the name is download outline. Sorry. And we're also going to have ARIA label, ARIA hidden of true. We're going to save this. See, there we go. We got it there. So that is it. That is it with the HTML for our about section. Let's go ahead and create our styles for it. About.css. And head over to our main, and we're going to import it here. Slash about. Perfect. All right. So let's start writing some CSS for this. Not too much CSS for this one. So we're just going to do about, and we want the padding to be 5 rem top and bottom, 0 left and right, and we also want the text align to be center. All right, and we got that nice padding, and we're going to grab that H1, so out H1, and we're going to do a font weight of 100 and a font size of 40 pixels, and also a text transform of uppercase. Nice. So the ones that got our strong tag around it is still bold, which is good. That's what we want. So it's going to grab the paragraph, so about P, and we want the font size. Font size. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Font size. Oh, look at that. I'll put an array. Alright, font size to be 18 pixels. And we want the color to be RGB 97, 95, 95. Grayish color. Gray color. Perfect. And we want the line height to be 2. And we're going to do a max width of 80% and a margin of 0 auto. Nice. Perfect. And let's see. Now we're going to up here. Let's grab the about dash info, and we're going to do a display of flex and a gap of 20 pixels and a margin of 40 pixels, 0. Like that. Perfect. All right. And right underneath this about, let's do our button. So about dash button, do a padding of 1 rem, 2 rem, and do a background of 222, a color of white, a border of none. Using too much tailwind. It's messing with my head, man. Border of none, and we do a border radius of 10 pixels, and a font size of 14 pixels, and then a cursor pointer like that. Let's take a quick look. There we go. And let's add a little hover effect to this button. So about button, hover, and do a background color of black, and then we're gonna do a transition of 0.5 seconds, ease in and out. I mean, hover, it gets darker. Let's do 0.3 seconds. I think that's a little bit way too long. All right, perfect. All right, so that is our about section. I believe next is our skills section. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so inside of our HTML, underneath this section tag, we'll make another comment, and this is going to be our skills section. All right, and we're going to have a section with a class of skills and also an ID of skills. And have an H1, and inside this H1 we're just going to do a just a few of my, I'm do a strong tag skills. You can just do it like this. I believe we make it uppercase inside of our CSS. All right, so here we have a div, and we have a class of container, and also a class of skill dash grid. And here, this is where all our skills are gonna go. So we're gonna do a div, and this is gonna have a class of skill, and we're gonna have an ion dash icon, and the name is going to be logo dash react, and the class is going to be skill dash icon, and we also give it an aria hidden of true. Okay, all right, take a quick look. We're not going to see anything. And so right underneath this icon, I'm going to have an H3, and this is just going to say react like that. And then this under that, we're gonna have a P, and this is just gonna have some lorem. Maybe write a little description on your skills in React or whatever your skills are. Okay, we have an error here. Let's see. Something that we're missing. Let's see if we can find it. So I got icon div, that's closing, name. Oh, okay, it's two things here like that. There we go, perfect. Okay, so that is one of our skill things. So let's go ahead and just style this up now. So we're gonna make a skills.css. Go to the main, add import / skills .css. Okay, and let's go ahead and start styling this up a bit. We're gonna grab skills, and this is gonna have a background color of RGB 242. 241 and 241 like that. All right, let's take a quick look. A nice little gray color, and we're also gonna give it a padding of 5 rem, 0, a color 333, And I'm also gonna do a text align center. Perfect. Now it's going to grab our h1.skills, h1, a font weight of 100, font size of 40 pixels, a text transform, uppercase, and also a margin bottom of 30 pixels. Nice. Alright, so under H1, we're gonna grab our skill grid, skill-grid, and we're gonna do a display of grid, new grid template columns of repeat 4, comma, min max 0, comma 1fr, like that. Alright. And underneath here, we're going to give it our grid a gap of 20 pixels. Alright, so underneath this grid, we're going to grab our individual skills. We're going to do dot skill, do display of flex, a flex direction, flex direction of column, justify center, justify content center, and align item center, a text align center, a padding of 2 rem, a gap of 20 pixels, a border radius of 10 pixels, background color is going to be white, and we're also going to have a box shadow that I'm not about to type this thing. I got this off a generator, a box shadow generator. Or actually, I think I actually got this off of Tailwind box shadow. Yeah, so if you type in Tailwind box shadow on Google and just head over to here, and they have some box shadows. So this is one from Tailwind that I normally use. Let's see which one it is. 04 pixel. So it's this one, Shadow MD. So just copy over that here because it's pretty complicated. All right, perfect. Let's take a quick look at this. I'm gonna close out of this, and there we go. We got our thing there. Let's go and grab a few more things. I'm gonna grab our skill icon, and we're gonna change the font size to 40 pixels. Nice. All right, so let's go and add the rest of our skills. All we have to do is head over to our index, and from this div, we're just going to copy this, and we're going to paste it 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. Now we should have 4 skills there, and we just got to change up the content in it. So I believe I did HTML. Let me scroll up and see where I'm at here. So instead of logo React, I did logo HTML5, and then changed this to HTML5. And then the next one was CSS3. So logo CSS3. I think it's all uppercase if you're adding the same ones. And I'm gonna do CSS3, and then the next one was JavaScript. So logo JavaScript, and then here I'm gonna change this to JavaScript. All right. So that logo didn't work. Oh, I forgot the A. Nice. So that is our hero section, but let's go and check mobile, see how this looks. Whoa, that don't look good at all. So let's head back over to our skills and let's do a media query. And we're actually gonna do a few media queries for this one. So we're gonna do at media only screen and max width is going to be 992 pixels. And we just want our skill grid to be We could just go up here and copy this. Copy this grid template columns. Paste it down here. But instead of repeat 4, we're going to repeat 2. Alright, get a quick look. As you can see, that's perfect. But if we keep going, still looks weird. So now we need another media query. So let's just copy this. And we're going to paste it again. And now we're going to do 768 pixels. We want it to repeat 1. Take a look. Now it's perfect. But our H1 here is a little bit too big, I believe. Let's see. The H1's a little bit too big. I mean, not really. If we want, we could go ahead and as you can see, our Navbar is messed up as well right now. We can go ahead and make a media query for that as well. So let's go ahead and do that right quick. Let's go copy it from here. Copy. This isn't really necessary, but I did a media query max width 480 pixels, and I just changed the font size of the H1 just to make it a little bit smaller. And you can essentially do the same one thing for this as well if you want. But I might just comment that out because I don't think we really need it. I think it looks good big like that. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, so let's go ahead and start the resume section. So let's create our resume style sheet first, just so we can get that out the way. And it's out of the main. Let's go ahead and import it. Alright. And now let's go ahead and close out of some of this stuff. And then head over to our index. Let's close out of this too. And right underneath this section, make sure you're still inside of the main tag. I'm gonna have our resume section. Right. So this section is pretty long. So I have a section, and it's gonna have a class name or class of resume, and an ID of resume. And then in here we're gonna have our div, and this is gonna have a class of container. And we have our H1, and it's just gonna say my previous. Have a strong tag, work history, and I'm gonna do strong again, education. All right, get a quick look at this. All right, so it's right underneath there. Perfect. And now we're gonna have a div underneath here, this H1. Actually, yep, still inside this container div. We're gonna have a div, and this is gonna have a class of resume content, and then div, and trying to see how we can do this. Make sure this is right. Education. So this div here, we're gonna do a class of I named it education like this, but we might come back and change this class name. For now, let's just make it education. And we'll have H2 in here, and it's just gonna say education like that. And then underneath this H2, we'll have an article. And inside this article, we'll have a div with a class of card header. And then inside this card header, we have another div. And it's gonna have a class of card header info. And in here we have two p tags. You can do this. This is your education. You can just do computer science, or if like a coding boot camp if you want, or you don't even have to add this section. You don't want to either, so we can have just work experience for this section, because they're both going to be the same. So you don't have to add education if you don't want. And then I just did Harvard University City. I just put Boston. All right, save that right quick, and there we go. And now underneath this div, we'll have a span. This is just the date to 2018 to 2023. Nice. And then underneath this div here, we have a p, and this is going to have a class of card info, and it's just some lorem like this. I'll paste that in here. Nice. All right, so let's go ahead and style up this card with these class names, because after we style this one card, all we got to do is just copy and paste it and switch up the data. But in my case, I won't be switching up any data. But in your case, you might want to take your time and add, you know, your work history and your education. So let's head over to styles and go to resume. We're going to open it up here. So we're going to grab the resume section, and it's just going to have a padding of 5 rem 0. All right, I'm going to grab the H1 resume H1 and a font weight of 100, font size of 40 pixels, text transform of uppercase, a margin bottom of 40 pixels, and a text align center. All right. Nice. And now we're gonna grab the H2s, resume H2, and we want these to have a border bottom of 1 pixel, solid, and we're gonna do DAD 9D9. And then we also want to have a padding for the bottom of 3 pixels. And we're also going to make these display inline blocks. Alright, so it's right underneath this here. You probably can't see because this border is blocking it, but we're about to fix that. Now we're going to grab the resume content. And this is going to be a display grid. A gap of 40 pixels. I'm going to do grid template columns of repeat 2 min max 0, 1 FR. Take a quick look. Nice. And we also want the text colors to be this little dark grayish color, 333. Alright, and now let's grab the card header info, but the inf child of the p tag, inf child of 1. So we're basically gonna grab computer science, because I believe that's the inf child, the first child in there. So card header dash info p, and grab the inf. If I can type, inf child of 1, and we're just gonna make the font weight of this 800, and the font size to be 20 pixels. Let's see if that works. Nice. Now we're gonna grab the cart header, cart dash header, and we're gonna make this a display flex, a justify content space between, and align item center. All right. So now the date is over here. Nice. And let's see. Now let's grab the span, the cart header span, and we want the background color to be that little dark gray color, color of white. And we're gonna give it a padding of 1 pixel and then 10 pixels, and then border radius, we're gonna make 10 pixels. All right, nice. So I think I did something wrong here on, let's head over to our main CSS, head down to this article. Let's see, I think I did something wrong here. Let's see, styles, and then main. All right, so we got a padding of 20 pixels, display flex direction column. Got okay, so yeah, this looks right. So it's something inside our index HTML. Maybe we spelled something. Resume content. Let's head back over to our resume styles, and okay, maybe once we add, okay, I think I really think I see what happened. Let's see. So this right here is supposed to be border bottom, like that. There we go. Okay, it was looking weird for a second. All right, so change the article to border bottom. Perfect. And now let's head back over to our HTML, and all we got to do now is just copy this article. Let's just copy it 2 more times for now. 1, 2. Let's take a quick look. There we go. Got our education, and now we need our right side. So that's what I was saying. We might change this here. Scroll up, this class name here. So let's just do just so that way we can have it for both. So education, let's just do resume grid. Yeah, resume grid. Let's do that. All right, and let's see what we got in here. Oh, we didn't even use education anyway. Okay. I don't think we actually used that. All right, cool. So we don't even need a class name on here. So for this div, we could just remove this. Keep the div, but just remove the class name. All right, so let's go ahead underneath. Let's see, getting confused here. So this is the resume content. So this div here, right underneath, so it's gonna be an article, there's gonna be a closing div. So right underneath this closing div there, we're gonna have another div. And like I said, we don't need to give it any class name, but we're gonna have an H2, and it's gonna have experience. And let's see if it takes on a styling. So yes, got that styling that we have. for all of our H2s. And now we could just copy 3 more articles. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. So you guys could go in and change up the text and stuff to fit. Me personally, I didn't go to college, so I would probably get rid of this H2 there and just have experience, and just put my previous work history and just have all work history here instead of having education and experience. But that's just me personally. I didn't go to college. However, I did go to a coding boot camp, so probably could put that over here, I guess, and maybe my high school. But so yeah, that is the resume section. Now it's time to do the project section. This is going to require JavaScript. We're gonna have a filtering system, and yeah, so let's get started on this. All right, so go ahead and make your style sheet. I already made mine. I forgot to press record, but go ahead and make your projects.css, and then make sure to import it inside of your main.css. And let's go ahead and close out some of this stuff and head over to your index.html. And right underneath all of this stuff, still inside of the main, I'm going to make project section. All right. And here we're gonna have a section, and with the class of projects and an ID of projects. And inside of this section, we're going to do our container div, class container, and inside here we're going to have an h1 with the title of some of my, we're going to add a strong tag, some of my projects. Like that. And I just noticed something. We forgot to add the emojis to each one of these. We'll add them towards the end. Hopefully I don't forget. So yeah, we're gonna add the emojis after the text. I just think it looks so much better with the emojis. All right, so we're gonna do a div, and this is going to have a class of filter. All right, and inside this div, we're gonna have a button. And it's going to take a bunch of stuff. We're going to have a data filter, and it's going to equal, this one is going to be all. We're also going to have an ARIA label, and this is going to say show all projects, like that. And then we're going to have an ARIA checked. That's going to equal to true. And the role is going to be, actually, I don't think we need to add this role and stuff. I was just testing some stuff out here, and the ARIA checked is true. I don't think we got to add all of that. So this button is going to say all. I'm going to save that so I can get the format. All right, so that's that. And let's go ahead and copy this button. And we're gonna paste it 1, 2, 3 more times. And like I said, you can have as many filters as you want as well. I just did 4, I believe, on this project. We got all, and this one, the second one is going to be React. So we gotta change this to data filter. It's going to be React, and show React projects. And the next one, I just did UI UX, UI/UX, and data filter is going to be UI UX, all undercase, lowercase. Sorry, I said undercase. Really, UI UX. And show UI/UX projects. And the next one is Python. So funny thing is, I am planning on starting Python here in a few weeks. Start learning some Python. Heard it's a really fun language, and I really want to learn it, so definitely gonna start soon. So it might be some Python projects coming to the channel. All right, so we got all React, UI, UX, and Python. Nice. All right, so right underneath this div here, I have another div, and this is going to have a class of project grid, like that. And in here, we're gonna have a div with a class of project card. And we also gonna have a data category, because we're gonna grab all of this stuff in JavaScript. The data category, and this one is going to equal to React. Right? And we're gonna have H2, and I just did awards, which is a website. And we're gonna do an image tag. The source is going to be .assets/project1, and the alt, you just name it first project or React project. All right, so let's go ahead and style this up. All right, nice. So that's our image there. So let's head over to projects.css and let's start some styling here. Projects. First, we're gonna grab the section. I'm gonna grab .projects, and we're gonna give it a padding of 3 rem 0. Then we're gonna grab the H1, projects H1, and we're gonna give a font weight of 100, a font size of 40 pixels, text transform uppercase, a margin bottom of 40 pixels, and a text align center. I could have made a reusable class because it seemed like we use this styling on all of the H1. So if you want, you could move this, maybe put I guess they're called utility classes on each H1, and then add all of this styling to the main. You can do something like just title, section title, section dash title, or something like that for the class name. But since we're already halfway done, might as well go ahead and just continue. All right, so after this H1, we're gonna grab the span. So project, actually we don't need that. We're gonna do .filter, sorry. And do a text align center and a margin bottom of 20 pixels. A quick look. All right, there we go. We got our filters. Now we're gonna grab the buttons. So filter button. I'm gonna do a background color of 333. Text color is going to be white. I'm gonna do a border of none. Actually, we don't even need this border of none and outline none, because we got those styling inside of our main to take out the outline and stuff like that. We are gonna add a border radius, or did I already add that too? Just making sure. Border radius is going to be 10 pixels, and we have a padding of 10 pixels top and bottom, and 20 pixels left and right. Nice. And we have a margin bottom, or just a margin of 5 pixels. And we also gonna add a cursor pointer, which I don't think we need either. Let me just make sure. Main, did I add cursor pointer? Probably should just add it here. Cursor pointer, and remove it here. I think we added it inside of our about section as well, but let's just go fix that right quick. Cursor pointer we don't need, and border none we don't need here. All right. Nice. So those are our filters. And now underneath this filter button, I'm gonna grab our project grid. Project grid. And we're gonna do a display grid. I've been using grid a lot lately. Normally I would use flex all the time, and I'm falling in love with grids. And we're just gonna do a repeat 3, 1 FR, and give it a gap of 20 pixels. All right. And now let's grab the project card. Project card. And this is going to have a background color of F4, F4, F4. And I'm going to give it a padding of 20 pixels. Border radius of 5 pixels. And a cursor pointer. And we also can give it a cursor pointer. And we also can give it a transition of 0.3 seconds, ease in and out, and you could just do opacity, which we didn't make yet. So now let's do a pound project card, and we're going to grab the hover pseudo class, and we're going to do opacity 0.8. Let's see how that looks. As you can see, you hover, that nice little effect. That's nice. Okay. Now let's grab the image. All right. Let's do pound project card, and we're gonna do image. We want the width to be 100%. We want to have a margin top of 10 pixels, and we got that weird box shadow again. Not sure if this is the same. Actually, I think it is the same one as before. Let's just make sure. So 0, 4 pixels, -1, and I believe it was in the skills. 0. Yep. So the same box shadow. Just go ahead and copy it over. If not, just pause the video and just type all of this in. Like I said, I got it off Tailwind. But there we go, nice little box shadow. And just do have a media query. At media only screen and max width 768 pixels. Alright, and do grid. Oh, actually we're gonna grab the project grid. Project grid. And we're just gonna do grid template columns. And we just want it to repeat 1, min max 0, 1 FR. Alright. Cool. So that is all of the CSS for that. Let's head back over to our index. And let's make some more projects right quick. I'm gonna open it up here. All right, cool. So this is one project card. So you can add as many projects as you want. I'm just gonna add a few. So I'm gonna just copy this project card, and I'm gonna paste it a few times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more times. And like I say, you can add as many projects as you want. And so for the data category, this is how we're gonna filter everything out. So if you add a React project, just make sure you add data category equals React. And I'm gonna just do different ones for each one. So this data category is going to be Python. And I'm going to change up the image. So this would be web flow, and this would be project 2. And then the next one is also going to be Python. For the data category, this would be blocks, and this would be project 3. And then the third one is going to be, did I do them all Python? Let's just switch it up. UI UX for that one, and this is going to be project 4, which I don't even know what it is. Let's see. Project 4 is OU Craft. Nice. Probably spell this wrong, but let's just do it. OU Craft. Like that. Make sure all this stuff is added. Nice. And the next one is going to be, what's our other one? Let's do UI UX again. UI UX, and this would be project 5, which I don't know what it is either. And this is UKit. All right, and I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do 6 just to make it even. And this would be Python or React. Let's do React. And this would be project 6. Let's take a look right quick. Everweb. Everweb. Do it like that. All right, cool. Nice. So we got our 6 projects, but once we click on these, nothing happens, and that's all in JavaScript. But we actually forgot something. We forgot to change the alt tags for each one of these. So we got React project. Wait, hold on. Okay, I got confused for a second. I'm gonna just change this to Python project. Here, Python project. Down here, it's gonna be UI UX project, UI UX, and React project. Nice. It's gonna save that and then head over to our JavaScript. Now it's time to write some JavaScript. Make sure it's open here. All right, so we got our navbar stuff here. Let me move this up there. That's all of our navbar. What we could actually, I don't want to get off track, but we still got to do our sticky nav as well. As you can see it right there, but you can't really see it. You see it's still there, so we got to change the background color. That's going to be really easy to do, but we got to do it in JavaScript. All right, so all right, so we got our type in text. So right underneath here, let's make another comment, and this would be filter options, like that. All right, so we're gonna do a document dot add event listener. Then we're going to do uppercase DOM and then content. If I can spell right, content. Load it like that, and then we're gonna do a comment, do a function, and then in here we're gonna grab our filter buttons and our project card. So we're gonna grab, first let's grab the filter buttons. So I'm gonna do a cons filter buttons, and this is going to equal document query selector, and it's going to be filter dash actually we're gonna do dot filter and then just button. So it's just put a space, don't put a dash. Let's grab in all of our filter buttons, and now we're going to grab the project card. So cons project cards, and this is going to equal document dot query selector. Sorry about that car out there. And this would be, I don't know why it's so early in the morning and they gotta do stuff like that. Project card. And now let's go ahead and let's loop through our buttons, and we're gonna add a click event to our buttons. So to do it, we're just gonna do a filter buttons. Don't put the dot, sorry. So we're gonna do filter buttons, and we do a for each loop, and we're gonna do button, do arrow function, and we're gonna return a button. Add event listener. And it's going to be click, comma, and the arrow function, and then we're going to do a const filter value, and this is going to equal to button dot get attribute. I don't know why it's not auto completing. So we're going to get the attribute of data filter. So this is what we added to our buttons. Get attribute of data filter. And now we're just going to do filter filter projects. Hold on. I'm a little confused. Oh, okay, that makes sense now. I was a little confused at first. Okay, we're gonna do filter projects. So we didn't create this function yet. That's why I was a little confused. And we're just gonna filter value like that. We probably could have made the function at the top of here first and then did our for each loop, but it's fine. So right underneath here, so make sure you do 2 parentheses down. But this is where we're going to make our filter projects function. So we're going to do a function, filter projects, and it's going to take in a category. And in here, we're going to loop through our project cards. We'll do a for each loop again. For each card, and it's going to return some stuff. We're gonna do a const project category, and this is going to equal to card dot get attribute our data category, data dot category. So this is what we added to each of our project cards. All right, so data filter and then data category. And now we're gonna do an if else statement. So if our category triple equals to all, or our project category is equal to our category, we want to return our card dot style dot display, and this is going to equal to block. Right, so if it's equal to all, or our project category, which is this, is equal to our category, this one is going to return our card. But else we want the card dot style dot display to be none. Okay, so let's test this out. Hopefully I didn't mistype anything. Let's see. Once we click on react, all right, so we got 2 small mistakes. I was typing a little bit too fast. So instead of data dot category, I'm gonna do a data dash category, and then up here you just want to make sure you do a query selector all instead of just query selector. I'm not sure if it still works with just query selector. Let's see. I don't think it will. Yeah, see, it doesn't. So yeah, make sure you add all here. So query selector all, and then query selector all, and And now we should have our filter. So once you click on React, we got 2 projects, UI UX 2 projects, and Python 2. And once you click all, we got all of our projects. And like I said, you can add more projects if you want. Just make sure you add an image to your assets, or you can fetch image off of a website, and then make sure you change the alt and a data category. And if you want to add more filters, all you got to do is up here, just add a button and change the data filter and the ARIA label, and then you'll be all set. And just make sure your project card matches up with that data filter. The data category matches up with that data filter. So once you click on one, it shows it. So since we're here, let's head back over to the JavaScript. So we're right here underneath this nav. I mean, still inside of like before we hit the type in deleting text, I want to add some more JavaScript for a sticky nav. So what I want to do is I want to actually grab the navbar, the entire navbar. So up here we grab the nav menu, the body, and the nav links. Let's go ahead and grab the entire navbar now. So we do a cons nav, and it's going to equal to document query selector, and so it's going to be nav, like that. All right, and down here we're gonna do we're gonna make a function. Do a function, and this is going to say handle scroll and we're gonna do if window dot scroll y is greater than 300. We want the nav dot classless dot add sticky nav. So we're gonna add that sticky nav once our scroll y. So scroll y is whenever we scroll. So once it hit, I believe I have it set to once I hit right here. You can play around with this number. I still don't get like what the measurements is. I always just play around with it just to find the right thing. So 300 I believe was perfect. So I think once we hit right here, that's when the nav turns black, the background. So let's just make sure though. So we're gonna add sticky nav, and then else we're going to do a nav dot classless dot remove, and we're going to remove that sticky nav class. Sticky nav. So basically it's saying, you know, once scroll y hits 300, it's going to add the sticky nav. But when the scroll y is not 300, so once we go back up here, that's when the nav is going to turn back to normal. So right underneath these two closing, we're going to do a window dot add event listener, and we're going to listen out for scroll, and we also want to fire our handle scroll function like that. All right, cool. So let's head over to our nav CSS and make this this sticky nav thing, sticky nav styling. So right underneath this hamburger, just gonna do sticky nav, and we're just gonna change the background color to black. So let's see if this works. So once we scroll, as you can see, it turns black right there, which I'm not sure if that's, well, yeah, I think that's smart to do, because the text, as you can see, once the home is like right there next to that our H2. So yeah, well, I think that's perfect. Now it turns black, and that transition we added on it, did we add a transition on this? Let's see, let's add a transition. Let's see, transition, we're gonna do all 0.3 seconds, ease in and out. Let's see if that works. Yeah, see, nice transition, perfect. All right, so that is it for our project section. I say we go ahead and start our contact section. All right, so we can go ahead and close out a Navbar, CSS, about, main, and our app.js. I believe we're done with JavaScript for the rest of this project. So let me go ahead and open up contact CSS over here, and let's go ahead and create our contact CSS. Contact CSS, and inside of the main, it's going to import it. I know this looks a little funky, like all these imports, but I did my research, and there's no downside of doing it this way. I mean, it's more organized in my opinion, and like I said, you don't have to do it this way. You can make a whole entire style sheet, but just be aware it's going to be, if you do it all in one, it's going to be probably like 500 lines of CSS. It's not, to be honest, it's not even that much CSS, but I decided to split it up, just organize it a little bit better. All right, so we got contacts, close out of this, close out of main, and inside of our index, start writing some HTML. Underneath this section, it's going to make a comment. This will be contact section. All right, so make sure you're still inside of the main. You're gonna have a section, and this is going to have a class of contact and an ID of contact, and we gotta do our container, class of container, and we have a h1, and this is going to say let's have a strong let's have a discussion. I'm not sure if I spelled this right. Hopefully I did. All right, cool. There we go. And underneath this h1, we're gonna have a p, and this is going to say please allow 24 to 48 hours for a response. Thank you. There we go. Let's make sure it's there. Nice. All right, so right under this p tag, we're gonna have a div, and inside this div, we're gonna have a form. We don't need an action or anything. This form is going to have an ID of contact form and an ARIA label of contact form. So this form won't do anything in this project. However, if you guys want to add email.js to your website, I did it in a ton of my projects. It's really easy. Just head over to one of my videos, one of my portfolio videos that I did, and I believe I did it in the most recent portfolio, my portfolio. Let me head over to it, Antonio Rogers. So this one here, I have email.js set up. So once we click submit, let's do this and then click submit. It sends directly to my email. So easy to set up. I didn't do it in this project, but so just head over to there and then maybe click on towards the end of the video, and you should definitely get that set up because it's really easy to add to your project. So inside this form, we're gonna have a div with a class of form-row. Okay. Then we're gonna have an input. Self-closing. This input is going to take, I don't know why I still have this open. And this is going to have a type of text. Name is going to be name. Class is going to be form input. And I believe we don't need the ID or anything. Placeholder is going to be your name. And if you want to, you can make it required and all of that stuff. ARIA label is going to be your name. All right, take a quick look. Got our form there, nice. And now let's go ahead and copy this input. So make sure you're still inside of this div. I'm just going to change this to email. Change the name to email. Form input can stay like that. Change this to email. And then change this to email like that. All right, so outside of this div, we're going to have a text area. Text area. All right, make some space because we want the rows to be 6, or not 8, sorry. Rows to be 6. The name could be message. Class, you could just put form input, I guess. Placeholder is going to be enter your message here. You can make it required. And we also got a style of resize of none. And then the ARIA label. It's just going to say your message. Okay, take a quick look. Whoa, what the heck? How's that inside? You guys see that? That is so weird. The thing is inside. Hold on, wait. Let's see. That is weird. It's code inside of there. I never seen it happen. Like, what is that? Code injected? It's like, the hell is that? Let's delete that. Look, it's still there when you refresh. That is weird. Let's make this a closing tag like that. Maybe something to do with that. Okay, it's working now. All right, so don't do a self-closing tag. Do it like this. All right, and next one. So underneath here, let's actually start styling this up just a bit. So head over to contact, CSS, and start styling this up. So we're gonna do contact, and we're gonna do a background color of RGB 242, 241, 241, and we also can give this a padding of 3 rem 0, a margin top. Sorry, margin top of 3 rem, and a text align center. All right, nice. And let's do it. Grab our H1. So contact H1. Do a font weight of 100. Font size 40 pixels. Text transform uppercase. Margin bottom 40 pixels. And we don't even need text align center. Okay, nice. And now let's grab the P, contact P, and we want the color to be pound 3333334. I don't know why. There we go. I think it was just pound 333. I don't even think we needed the 4. Are we gonna margin bottom of 10 pixels? And a font size of 14 pixels. Nice. All right, and now let's start styling our form. So we're gonna grab form. And we could just grab it by the ID. We just do contact form like that. Contact dash form. I believe I added. Did I add the ID to it? Let's see. Index. So form. Yep. ID contact form. To be honest, we don't even need to do that. We could just grab the form actually. The form. We're gonna do a width of 100%. And then we're gonna do a max width of 700 pixels. And a margin of 0 auto. Look. Nice. So if you have more than one form on the site, you definitely don't want to do this. Grab just the form. But since this is our only form, I believe that's why I added the ID, just to make this example here. You definitely want to add this add ID to your form or class name, doesn't matter. So contact form, and now we're gonna grab the form dash input, and we want those to have a margin bottom of 20 pixels. That, and now let's start styling the inputs and the text area as well. So we're gonna grab input, and the cool thing is you can grab each one if you want. So actually we could just do this. Let me think. I got it complicated on my code, so we could do that. So we added the form input class. So what we could do is just add it all here. We could just do a width of 100%. Margin 15 pixels, 0. And we add a padding of 10 pixels. And then we add a border of 1 pixel, solid, RGB. It's going to be 242, 241, and 241. Let's make sure it's grabbing each one of these. Okay, it is. Nice. And we're gonna add a border radius of 5 pixels. Nice. All right. And so that's the form input. And let's head back over. Let's see. Let's head back over to our index. Now we gotta make our button. So head back over here. And right underneath this text area, we're gonna make a button. So we're gonna put this inside of a div. And this is just going to have class name of form button, like that. And to be honest, you can make a button out of an input. I did it in one of my projects, and I'm doing it in, actually let's not do that. Let's just make a button. I don't want to overcomplicate things. And you're gonna have a type of submit, and I believe that's it. We can add an ID to it, but I'm just gonna do a class. We don't even need to add the class. Let's see, and we're gonna do submit your message. I am literally creating this section as we go. So I kind of overcomplicated things in my code, but so I'm kind of like scratching all of this stuff, and I'm just basically creating this as we go, and it's turning out really nice. All right, so that's the submit button. Let's see, contact. Let's go ahead and grab that submit button. See. All right, so we're gonna grab form dash button I'm just gonna grab the button inside of there, and let's see, is it already centered? Okay, so it's already nice and centered, which is nice, and I believe that's because we got this text align center there. So now we just gotta just do our button. Let's see. So we have a background color. Let's do 333. Text color is going to be white, and we don't need to add any border, none. Just add a padding of 10 pixels, 20 pixels, and let's add a border radius of 5 pixels, and let's see how that looks. Nice. Let's add a hover to this. Do a form button, hover, and we want the background color to be black. Alright, and we can also add a little transition here. Transition all 0.3 seconds, ease in and out. Okay. Nice. Nice. Alright. So I kind of don't like having these two like this on each line, so that's why I made this form row div. So let's go ahead and make that into a flex. I don't know why I keep opening up projects. So we're going to do dot form row, and we're going to do, actually let's do a grid. Let's do display grid, and let's do a grid template columns, repeat. Let's just do 2, 1 FR, and let's give it a gap of like 30 pixels and align item center. Nice. All right, cool. And I believe that is it. Let's just make sure. Go back. I believe that's it for the contact section. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and just knock out our footer right quick, and then we're done. Let's just make sure this is responsive. I haven't checked if anything is responsive in a while. So this is, I always check on BlackBerry because it's like the smallest screen that I've seen on here. So I always go to BlackBerry Z30, so just to make sure everything still looks good. Okay, we could probably bring that up a little bit, like the number. Let's see, let's go over to app.js. Let's change this to like 200. Oh, it's still doing it. I do like 250. Maybe like 150. Let's see. Bring it down halfway. Alright, and let's see how that looks on desktop. Okay, that doesn't look bad at all. Okay. Let's see. Everything looks good there. Looks good. It's good. Ooh. Okay, here we go. We forgot the media queries for the work previous, the resume section. This looks good. Nice. And the form looks great. Okay, so let's head over to the resume, and we got some media queries to add that we forgot to add here. Open this up. So really easy. We're just gonna do add media only, screen, and max dash width. It's going to be 768 pixels. And we're just gonna grab the resume content, and we're gonna change the grid template columns to repeat 1, min max 0, 1 FR. like that. All right, let's take a look. Nice. Perfect. Okay. So let's go ahead and knock out this footer right quick. So head over to the index HTML. And small footer, nothing too fancy. So right underneath the main, we're gonna add a footer. HTML tag. And it's gonna have a div with a class of container. And we also gonna add a footer container that we didn't make yet. We're gonna add that footer container to our main.css. No need to create a whole file for this. So p tag, and we're gonna do the little copy logo on the copy icon. To do that, you're just gonna do the little and symbol and do copy like that. And you can do 2023. Do your name. I'm just gonna do johndoe.com, and then all rights reserved, like that. All right, as you can see, it's right there. So let's head over to our main CSS and finish up here. Main CSS. Right at the bottom, we can make this footer container right quick. And we're just gonna do a text align center. When we do that, nothing happens. It doesn't, you see, it doesn't become centered. So to do it, you just gotta do a width of 100%. And now the text should be, oh, I must have spelled something wrong. Footer, oh, okay. So I'm probably wrong there. Let's go see again. Let's see, main, and let's remove this. See if it still becomes centered. Okay, so it still becomes centered, but actually I guess we don't need the width. I guess I was wrong. So let's do a background color, and this is going to be the same background color as our contact sections, just so it can blend in perfectly. 242, 241, and 241. All right, and we have a padding of 1 rem, 0. Nice. Okay, so that's why we needed the 100%, because as you can see, you got the little white on the end. Now let's add the width 100%, and it got rid of that. So there we go. So that is our portfolio, guys. That's it. Everything looks great. Really nice portfolio. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. Nice colors and stuff. I think I did a good job, and hopefully you guys followed along and created this. Tune in for our next video. I will see you guys later. Peace.